Always some sort of problem with Facebook Live. Don't know why, but if you're just coming in and you say, DML, why are you late? I'm not late. I'm never late. I'm like Ben the clock. All right, ding dong, I'm on time. But I'm having a problem with Facebook Live. So anyway, all right. So yesterday we got 1,300 people here in Clement. Yesterday, Harlan Hill filled in for yours truly. And I think he did a great job. I think he's getting better at doing the whole walk and talk thing. And, the problem with me doing the walk and talks every day like I used to be doing them is it's getting tougher. It's getting tougher because the more we're building the new network, the new media platform, the less time I have for actually taking an hour and 20, hour and a half, really, when you take the time. I got to change my clothes, get into my exercise clothes, blah, blah, blah. I can see it already. Less and less and less time for this kind of thing, which is not good because I originally did all this stuff for the sake of my health. So we're going to have to figure it out. Anyway, let me dive into what we're going to do today. The walk and talk will probably be about 40 minutes long, a little less than usual. Yep, just got too much stuff on the docket, too much stuff on the calendar. So anyway, here's how it's going to go. Politics, we're going to talk about the war on Trump. It has officially begun. The guy hasn't even taken the office yet. Number two, we're going to talk about, in the opinion section, is something Obama has just done with regard to Cuban migrants. Third, we're going to talk about building a new media company. I'm going to give you some interesting things. You'd probably be like, wow. That's in the wow section. And then last, I'm going to do a whole thing on respect. I think a lot of you are going to appreciate the story today. Respect. It is something that is highly lost in this day and age. And I'm going to rip some buttocks. Yeah. So anyway, let's get into it. Politics. The war on Donald Trump. Very rarely in the walk and talks here do I ever discuss something that happened days ago. I always keep it fresh. I always keep it new in the mornings. So this way, if you were to be a fly on the wall, we have an editor's desk at DML Daily. And, all this stuff goes up on DennisMichaelLynch.com. That'll be changing to a certain degree. We'll be going to DMLDaily.com. But, and that's in the building. That's in the works right now. But for the most part, I'm part of the editor's desk. Then it changes over to Anita. We have a formula that I have created that I never share with anybody on how it is that we look up stories, get them, know that they're true, kind of put a double, triple DML stamp on it, if you will. And so this way I never get caught with my pants down and somebody's going to tell me I'm fake news. Because if you haven't figured it out yet, if you're from the left and you put out fake news, nothing to see here. No problems whatsoever. You don't see Facebook making big, huge announcements how it is they're going to start cracking down on BuzzFeed and CNN. No, it's all about if you're a conservative news outlet and you give something that is even this much unconfirmed, well, they're going to basically sell your children and take them away from you. It's the double standard. It's nothing new. We've been dealing with this sort of thing since ever, right? It's really what it comes down to. It has only just gotten worse. Well, anyway, so I'm at the editor's desk every morning. So I see all these stories coming across. I use my formula and whatever. Today, I'm going to talk to you about that press conference that Trump had with this whole dossier thing, because it's not going away. And because it has supported everything I have told you for weeks. And yeah, for those of you who say, DML, you're cocky, you got an ego. You bet I do. And the reason being is because I'm never wrong on this stuff. If you were as right as I am on this stuff, you'd be cocky about it too. There's nothing I'd like more to come back and tell you, I was wrong on that one. They're really treating Trump fairly. I'd love to come back as being wrong, but I'm not. I'm coming back telling you, I told you. What did I tell you a month ago? What did I tell you? I said, you listen to me. In fact, I stopped walking. I said, you listen to me right now. I am telling you, this Russia thing is going to stick with him for 4 years. I said it to you. I said it to you again the next day, and I'm saying it again to you here today. They are doing everything they possibly can, including coming up with this BS, this absolute BS, to try to do everything they can to put into the minds of Americans that Donald J. Trump is somehow secretly doing stuff with the Russians that are going to affect your life negatively. They are trying everything, every single last thing, including coming up with these fake documents and publishing these things and trying to make it as if it's true. They don't care who they take down. They don't care who they hurt. They don't care how much they mislead people. They just want it to stick. Now, you may feel that because it's basically coming out that there's vindication here for Trump and showing, I told you it wasn't true. And even now with the intelligence agencies, it looks like they're involved. And we've got all these different spies and all this other crap, and Obama and his whole team feeding crap. Your head's spinning. Your head's spinning. And let me tell you, that's all by design. That is all by design. Let me tell you how this works. Unfortunately, and I've taught you this before, I've said this to you before, that perception is often mistaken for reality. Never forget it. Never forget. Guy named John Scully, former CEO of Pepsi. He's the guy who spearheaded Pepsi during the whole Cola Wars. Most of you are old enough to remember the Cola Wars. Those of you who are too young, go up and look it up. I'm not going to get deep into it, but just look up Cola Wars. John Scully spearheaded that for Pepsi, and he was able to make it so this way Pepsi took over Coke. John Scully became my partner. We were partners in a consulting firm, just he and I. It was a Batman and Robin duo in Manhattan, and we were partners at the time of 9/11. That's why right after 9/11, I just sort of quit, went into John's office, said, John, I'm done. And he said, I don't blame you, Dennis. Go. In fact, I'm going to bring him up later. Something about respect. But we'll get back to that. And he told me that one of the things that Apple relied on in their marketing was that perception is often mistaken for reality. This is a very powerful tool. Because let's say, for instance, I'm talking to you on the other side. So let's say your name is Joe. I don't like you, Joe. I want to bring you down. And no matter how hard I try to bring you down, I can't come up with anything. I'm trying to get this, I'm looking into this, I'm looking into that. And you know what? The stuff you've done, although everybody has a little bad stuff in their closet, everything you've done is acceptable. You know, the bad things you've done are reasonable. Everybody else has done them, you know? And they're really actually not going to affect national security. They're not going to affect taxes. They're not going to affect anything, you know? So I gotta come up with something. I gotta come up with something to stain you. And I gotta make sure that stain cannot be removed. Even if the stain is shown to be untrue, it still stains. So I come up with, heard Joe's a child molester. Ooh, that's a heavy allegation. Now I'm putting you on your heels. I'm putting you on your heels into such a way to where now you feel like everything you do has got to be to justify the fact that you did not touch that child in an inappropriate way. I have you on your heels. When I hit with that, the news is going to be everywhere. Joe's a potential claim, report. DML says Joe's a child molester. It's all over the place. That's the narrative. And it gets hit and hit and hit and hit and hit. Perception becomes reality, especially to those people who just do title swimming. You know, they go through the app, and we have it now in our app. You know, I put up 50 stories in a day. You'll just go title surfing until you see the one, oh, Alec Baldwin's going to be imitating Donald Trump again. Let me check this out. Okay. So a lot of people just title surf. So in their head, Joe is a child molester. Oh, he's up against child molesters. I knew there was something about that guy. All right. Now, by the time it comes around the fact that it is totally debunked that you didn't do that, the story's long gone. and it's already been burned. So maybe 50% of the people who actually wind up getting the truth are only half the people. The other half of the people just remember that Joe was hit as being a potential child molester. Okay, bring this back to Trump. This is the strategy. This is how it works. This is how the media tries to stain. This is how the Democrats try to stain. And this is why I knew when I told you a month ago that this is going to be what they're going to do. Because this stains. And it's got incredible staying power. It's got incredible staying power when people are going to say in the media and the Democrats, Donald Trump is in bed with the Russians. How is he in bed with the Russians? He's got no business deals. He's got no this. He's got no that. Well, we can't see his tax returns. Yeah, but all right, ultimately, come on, we're looking underneath all the rocks. We don't see anything that's blaring. Wow, what do we come up with? What do we do? Oh, listen, let's hit it with a scandal. Because people are buying into the fact that the Russians really didn't hack into anything. Because ultimately they could have hacked into anything they wanted to. But I pulled that lever based on what I already knew the country was going through. Not based on some email that I saw on WikiLeaks. That only confirmed what I knew. You see how this is all going? You see this? Because I know it's heady. And I know it's got a lot of tentacles. And it spreads out. But this is what these people do. This is why they're called strategists. Because they sit back and they think this thing out. You don't think that's true? Then you don't know what's going on. And so what they do is they look long term. How do we put a stain on him? And so therefore everything else has tried and everything else has failed. And they sit there and say, wait a second. What if Trump, if there was something on Trump? What about if the Russians had something on Trump? Like, he was masturbating in a hotel room to 3 girls who were peeing on each other. I mean, this is the kind of stuff they come up with. Why? Because it sticks. It sticks in the headlines. It floats. It makes people talk. Yesterday, I was on the bill. I remember, I don't know if you saw it or not, took my daughter and my boys to Billy Joel. I'm online at Billy Joel waiting to get in, to get our stuff. Everybody around me, I don't know if they're Democrats, I don't know if they're Republicans, whatever, everybody is talking about the CNN, your fake news, blah, 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 blah. You get it? It's rippled effect. It's rippled effect. And what it's doing is it builds layers. It builds layers in here. Russia, Trump. Russia, Trump. Russia, Trump. It's branding. It's have a Coke and a smile, have a Coke and a smile, have a Coke and a smile, have a Coke and a smile. Told you this the other day. Coke. Last thing you want to do if you drink it every day is smile. Your teeth are going to get rotted. But Coke and a smile, Coke and a smile, Coke and a smile. Right? Same thing. Band-Aid, 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 Band-Aid. It's really not called a Band-Aid. But that's what it is. Because marketing has set it into your head that when you go in, you say, excuse me, can you lead me to where the Band-Aids are? Yes. It's boom, 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 boom. Pounding, pounding, pounding. This is what I'm telling you about when I was with John Scully. Perception is reality. You keep on, you market it, and you market it, you market it, and you push it in, you push it in, you push it in. Sooner or later, it's what people believe. That's what they're doing. This is the war on Trump. Right now, you've got media companies, no joke, media companies meeting right now on how it is. These are lefties, Huffington Post, Slate, Univision, meeting together, competing networks, competing websites, meeting on how it is that they should report on the inauguration. Think about that. Think about that the way yours truly thinks about that. How many times I told you I'm playing the first inning, but I think of the ninth. I'm going to run this football play to the left, not because I should, but because he thinks I'm going to run it to the right, meaning the other team. There should be no, how are we going to collectively cover the inauguration? They should just be covering the inauguration for what it is, for the day it is, for the events that happen. But they're going to discuss, how do we cover this? Because they're going to take those cameras and point them more on the protests than they are on the beauty of that day. Perception is reality. Send a message, send a message, send a message. So Trump gets up there and he does everything he possibly can from that podium. No, I'm not going to answer your question. I'm not going to, because you're fake news. So what does Trump do back? He stains them. He stains them. So now it's our responsibility to take the weaponry that they're trying to throw out at us. And this is one of the reasons why when you hear me walk and say, President J. Trump, Donald J. Trump, man, I am proud to have voted for. One of the reasons why I'm proud to have voted for him is because he is a strategic, smart thinker. Maybe he doesn't always tweet the smartest thing. Once in a while, he may let his own emotions and ego take over. But by and large, most of the time, he's thinking. He's thinking ninth inning, it's in the first inning. He understands, or if he doesn't understand, he's doing this by default. He's doing exactly what I'm doing. Exactly what I would be doing if I was standing at that podium. You have to fight fire with fire. They are putting a war on this man, not for today, but for 4 years from now. I have told you this repeatedly. 4 years comes fast. And it's going to be completely media driven. The media, the Democrats have nobody on their side. Nobody capable of getting up and winning an election with the exception of Michelle Obama. They have nobody. They have one tool. The media. The media. And the media knows it. And this is why this is so important for you to understand. This is not some drive-by conversation. I'm spending more time on this than I usually spend on any topic. The bells are coming up and I'm still on topic 1. When Trump goes back and says, you're fake news, I'm not giving you a question, he stains them in the same way they stain him. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And he has to do it again. He has to do it every single last day. He needs to change that press room. He needs to change it to where new media is in there covering him. Now, to a certain degree, it is pathetic, saddening, and sort of leaves me in a queasiness that I even have to say something like that. Because the constitutionalist inside me says, what's happening? What's happening to the country? What's happening to the country that a guy like me who believes in trust, honesty, and fairness when it comes to America, how dare I say, kick those people out? How dare I say, load the stack of people who will be pro-Trump? How dare I say that? Because truthfully, it goes against everything that I stand for. But I'm not thinking about me. I'm thinking about the future of this country. I'm thinking about my children. I'm thinking about you. I think about this stuff all the time. Did not have a good sleep last night because I'm thinking about this and thinking about this. And it all ties back to some of the work I've been doing over the last couple of days. I would like to say, and I have always been, a guy who says, be fair. You know, don't attack for no reason. Let that other person look like the moron. We'll take the high road. Well, this is one of those times where good guys finish last. You finish last when you're a good guy here because they will bury you. They will bury you, bury you, bury you. If it's Facebook or Twitter, they'll disconnect you. They won't put you in a feed. They'll spin this, they'll spin that. They'll ratchet you back. If it's the media, the big conglomerates, they'll cut you off. Just won't put you on anymore. You know, it's not always dishonesty by saying dishonest things. Sometimes it's dishonesty by omission, by just leaving it out. That's dishonest. Just cut them out. Cut them out. Don't show that. That's dishonesty. This is what we're up against constantly. Think about this. If you did not have social media, if we did not have these platforms that are now in place, this dozier, what an unbelievable word, this dozier, it'd be in. You'd be reading it in newspapers, and by the time that the argument would come back that it's untrue, it would be days later. The stain that I'm talking to you about, the perception of reality, it would be too late. So I come away from some of the principles who make me who I am, because I understand the fact that as much as I would like to stay within those principles, we're no longer in a day of black and white TV. We're in a day where everything moves at the light of speed. And that actually in our ability to be good people and to follow every single last step that we know in our heart is right, every single step that those bells that you hear right now signify and saying you have to be a good, loving person and human being. I understand that if we don't grab our sword right now and fight back, that there will be no more good human beings. That it will be all dictated by these people who are willing to lie, cheat, scratch, and steal in order to get what they want. The days of sitting down and being reasonable and thinking about the good of what is good for the American who's sitting at home and really feels as if they have no voice in the game, who's relying completely on the fourth estate, the press. Those days are gone. And so we find ourselves in this war, a war against Trump. And I know, again, this is heady, but a war against Trump is not a war against Trump. It's a war against you. It's a war against me. It's a war against our kids. Not because we're some Donald Trump cult. I will be the first person, and you know it. I will rip on Donald J. Trump when I disagree with him. I will do so at the detriment of my own well-being, in the sense, if I count my life by likes, if I count my life by how many people speak nicely of me, I lose, because I will inevitably get that person. Hold on, I gotta give thanks. I thank you for this day. It's beautiful. It's nice. I thank you for the ability to talk freely for as long as that lasts. And thank you for having these people on the other side. Thank you very much. Okay, back to our program. We lose let's say this in the right way. When they fight Donald Trump, they fight you. Not because we're a cult. I will be the first person to kick back at Donald Trump if I think he's in the wrong direction, if I think he's doing the wrong thing. Because ultimately, I realize the fact that I don't work for him. He works for me. He works for you. He wanted a job that comes with incredible power. He wanted a job that comes with incredible legacy. We gave him that job because we said, you will take care of America and America's people first before you take care of yourself. Jury's out on how that's going to work, but I trust in the fact that he will do the right thing. Those other people don't. And so when they attack him, they attack us. So therefore, I cannot turn the other cheek. Therefore, I cannot, and you should not, accept what they do. You need to fight back. You need to fight back in order to make it so this way the badness is gone. Donald Trump is a very strong man with a great backbone, And he's not an easy guy to take down. But I am telling you right now, there is an army filled with people who have pens and cameras and cell phones and reach that reaches an incredible, incredible ocean of people. And they will do everything in their power every single day until the next election 4 years from now to make it so this way this man is a complete and total failure. It's sort of like they're sitting down and saying, okay, we know we're going to lose this, and this. It's inevitable. We're going to lose that over the next couple of years. But if we get the White House back, we can recover some of it and build upon it. That's what they're thinking. They're not thinking about what happens in the first 100 days. They're thinking about what happens in the 1200th day. The more you recognize this, the more you play to this, the more that you have this conversation in a civilized but forceful way with your friends and your family and your coworkers and the people who you share with on social media, the more you're doing your job of fighting back, because the war on Trump is the war on you. And again, I reemphasize, you know me. I'm not into scare tactics. I'm not into the world is dropping and we better jump off it now or else we all die. But what I've seen in the past 2 days, what I've seen take place with this false documentation that does not take into account a man's life, a man's legacy, a man's family, a nation that voted for somebody. When I see this, and I know, oh my goodness, this just cemented how right I've been, I do get a little scared. I do get a little scared. Because the worst thing in the world that can happen is that the Trump presidency turns out to be a complete flop, in the sense that he was just never able to get things going in the way that he needs them to go to make America great again. Do I think he and his team and the Congress can fight that storm? I do. I do. But make no mistake, my friends, the damage that has been done with 8 years of President Barack Hussein Obama does not get fixed in a day. It does not get fixed in a year. It does not get fixed in 2 years. This man has taken a bulldozer to the United States of America. A complete bulldozer. He has run it into the ground. You think you just snap your fingers and it's all better? Look at something as simple and complex as Obamacare. I say simple for the sake that you could just say, okay, we're going to repeal it. But then you got to replace it. You just don't replace it. Look, let's take this house, right? I could knock that house down literally in 2 hours with a bulldozer. Can't build it back up in 2 days. Can't build it back up in 2 weeks. It's going to take more time. Donald Trump, his team need you more now than ever. You have the most powerful bullet that any gun has on social media. You have what's called a share button. If you ain't clicking that thing, you ain't doing your job. You have to share what you see. Don't take it upon yourself whether or not this is important or not important. You need to share. You know, There's a guy, his name is Crowder. And he is a young guy, comedian / commentator. And he's associated now with a network who's sort of trying to do the same thing we're doing. I think they're going in a bad business model direction. That's just my 2 cents. I wish them nothing but luck. They're conservative. Mark Levin's involved, Michelle Malkin, this guy. And he said something. I listened to him last night because somebody sent me a video. They're like, oh, you should start a mug club. Yeah, I'm not going to start a mug club, okay? I got to start selling mugs in order to get my network off the ground. Bury me. But he said something that was incredible. And it's so spot on true. He was talking to the audience, trying to get their $100 out of them for a mug. And he said, you know, all I hear from you people all the time is, we need to build our own network. We need to build our own platform. We need to get rid of this Facebook stuff. We need to do. He said, all right, well, here you go. Here's your chance. I couldn't agree with him more. I don't agree with the fact that you should pay $100 to have to watch them. But I say to you, don't send $100. Hit the share button. That's worth $1 million. It's worth $1 million. Yesterday, while Harlan was having a walk and talk, Newt Gingrich was also having a live event at the Heritage Foundation. Now, the Heritage Foundation has 2 million people on their Facebook, and Newt has about what we have, about 1 million. Collectively, 3 million. Newt's there. He's got 1.3 thousand. He's got 1,300 watching him. Harlan had about 3,000 yesterday watching him. Here he is, Newt Gingrich, former everything. You don't need me to tell you. Having a third of what we have. And I was going back and forth listening to Harlan and listening to Newt, trying to understand why you were watching us instead of him. And Newt said something very, very intelligent. I caught it at the right time. He said, Donald Trump, and I would like to believe that Dennis Lynch is the same way. Every time that Donald Trump had a session with 25,000 people in Alabama or South Carolina or whatever it may be, it really wasn't 25,000. It was with 25 million. Because those 25,000 people took a picture on their phone and they shared it. And so it went out to all these people. And Donald Trump was reaching more people than CNN, MSNBC could combine. And so I come back and I end this segment that has now gone into 2 segments by explaining to you that I look at this number right now and I see 4.4, 4,400 people. 4,400 people. Imagine 4,400 people in an auditorium. It's pretty big. Each one of you hit share. That goes out to 440,000 people. This is where you fight. This is why I'm not rolling around in the ground today. Second day in a row, I've come to you very serious. And that is because what I have seen over the past 2 days scares me. Because it proves that I'm right in the fact that they are going to try to pin him and Russia. It is going to be, no matter what it is, it's going to be Trump, Russia, Trump, Russia, Trump, Putin, Trump, Putin, Trump, Putin. And the first time that we actually try to do something good with Trump and Putin or Putin and whoever, it's going to be told you he's in bed. And then a couple of months from now, it's going to be, hey, let's put some pressure on the IRS to finish this audit for Trump so we get the tax returns. It is going to forever be about Russia. The only way that Trump is going to win this fight is with you. And I'm not saying it has to just be necessarily always a share of DML. Make it a share of Fox, if you believe. Make it a share of some other place, if you believe. Make it a credible place. Don't make it, some of these links you guys send me. I still spin my head. Somebody actually sent me a link yesterday that started off with, I know this isn't the most credible source. Stop. I didn't even read the rest. Stop. It's up to you. Always ask, what can I do? How can I get involved? You know what? Start with the share button. That's that. Now, moving on to the opinion Although I think I just gave my opinion. All right, Dml. That's why we love you. That's why I love you back. Going into the opinion part, there's a thing called wet foot, dry foot. It's designed specifically for Cuban migrants, people who are looking to escape Cuba. Come on over. Once they get, if you're a Cuban, you ready? This is the law. If you're a Cuban and this is the ocean, the black top is the ocean, and there is America. The second you go like this, you're in. No going back. They won't send you back. You're in. You understand that? Look at this. No visa, no nothing, no nothing. You're in. I have forever hated this law, being an immigration guy. And the reason why, by and large, that was set like that is because they were afraid that if they sent you back to Cuba, they were going to mutilate you back there. Because, Castro's nice and all. Obama, amazing how he does deals with the devil. So anyway, Obama, tricky little guy. Obama, out of nowhere, with like no time on the clock, decides that one of his last trick plays is going to be that he's going to eviscerate that entire law. It's gone. No more. There is no more of going like this, being a Cuban and being like, I'm in America. Going back. Now, the immigration guy that I am says, good. It's about time. Enough of this. U.S. citizenship does not come in a Cracker Jacks box. Being a resident of this country is not something that should be as easy as just being able to get across the land and go, hey, I'm here. I get all the things that Dennis Michael Lynch and all of his fans do, and all those veterans who've been fighting for the country and everybody else. Yeah, I get it all now too. No, it doesn't work like that. And if you have a problem with who you are and where you were born, don't take it up with me. Take it up with God. If God wanted everybody to be in America, he would have just made America. It's not the case. So Obama has now, it's gone. No more wet foot, dry foot. You're going back. Now, there's two ways of looking at this. You can say, wow, maybe Obama was really tough on immigration. Maybe he did deport all those people. Maybe Dml and team and everybody else has been totally BSing me. I mean, who does that? That's a tough guy at immigration right there. Please. Second way that he would have done it, reason why we've done it, is because he made a deal with the devil. Made a deal with the Cuban government. Who does that? Now what's going to happen? You try to flee from Cuba to come over to America? You get sent back? What do you think's happening to you? You think you're going to get a 5-course meal and say, hey, man, here's a scotch for being brave? How you got past those sharks? Woo! No. They're going to feed you to the sharks. And so there's this double-edged sword. There's this Dml side that says, good, all the immigration, this should have never been the case to begin with. And then there's the other side where Dml says, oh, man, I don't want to see somebody fed to the sharks. But at the same time, I can't solve every problem in the world. I got my own problems here in America. Then there's the other side that Obama says, I really don't like the fact that we didn't win Florida. How did we not win Florida? Florida's supposed to be going blue. And then they turn around and take a look that many Cubans are conservative. And he says, I can't have these new voters coming over here and screw it up. I mean, come on. Who do you think is voting for Marco Rubio? Yeah. Dml, I never thought of it that way. That's why you tune in, baby. That's why you tune in. That and a song once in a while. Yeah. So it's like, wait a second. I cut this off. I don't have to worry about my next election. Cut that off. And that's one migrant block that ain't going my way. Because none of the other side makes sense. You gotta send people back so they could be slaughtered. At the same time, the law makes no sense that anybody could just walk over, step their foot in, and be like, oh, here's your paperwork. Yeah, that's my take on it. My take on it is locking down Florida for the next election. Because who else does that? Who else does that with 7 days left on the clock? Is it even 7 days? 6 days? Who does that? You don't do that. You go out and you sign autographs. You do your little extra farewell way. You go visit a McDonald's and say, oh, yeah, I always loved this McDonald's. You don't do something like that unless you're President Obama and you're thinking about 4 years from now, quite possibly when your wife runs for president. Don't forget, I told you. Okay. So, that's my opinion. That's probably right. We move on. All right, for those of you who just come in for the serious stuff and don't like it with the unserious stuff, you might want to change the channel. We're going to be talking about stuff that isn't necessarily germane to national security. Although I do think you want to stick on, because I'm going to rip into the meaning of respect. You can always tell when DML has a little bug inside. You can always tell when somebody's pissed him off. Sort of like Mr. Sun right now is pissing me off. You can always tell. Yeah. Because DML sends messages in very, very unique ways. But before we get to the respect thing, let's talk about WOW. So Harlan Hill, I can't tell you how much I like this kid. So I call him up this morning and we look at all these different locations in New York. And we were going to put a bid in on the most expensive, most elaborate space that we saw the other day. And I said to him, look, when I was building my computer business years ago, back when I was in my 20s, I literally moved 7 times in 2 years. Why? Because every single time that I moved into a location, I doubted whether or not I would be able to fill that location with computers and employees, and I was so afraid of the cost of going somewhere bigger. And every time, because, I'm super entrepreneur, at least in my head anyway, I would outdo the place that I thought I would never be able to catch up to. Ultimately, the money I saved in the cheaper rent cost me 5 times the amount, because to move 7 times was more costly than that extra rent. So I explained to Harlan, sorry about the wind, it will cut down in a second. So I explained to Harlan that although I don't want to spend the money on a bigger place right now, I think we may have to, because I do not want to have, and I always use Dr. Carson, I don't know why, maybe because he invited me to his house to interview him, but I always say, when Dr. Carson walks in to our studios, we want him to say, wow, what a nice place. Not as big as Fox, doesn't have to be, but wow, much nicer than Newsmax. And wow, what a nice place. Glass all over the place, classy. And then I thought a little more about it this morning. And I said, no, Dennis, you're not thinking this out right. See, and it may be because I'm 47, going to be 48. That usually what happens, right? 48 comes after 47. I'll be 48 in August. So there's a part of me that's stuck a little bit in the old world. And, I'm an older guy. I got gray hair coming in. I said, no, you're thinking about this wrong. Those days are dead. Me catering to Dr. Carson, no more. Dr. Carson needs to cater to me. I am the conduit to the people that he wants to reach. So I'm not going to get, and I love Dr. Carson, so I'm using him as an example. I am not going to get a place that suits him. I'm going to get a place that suits me and the people who rely on us for truth and honesty. So my plea to Dr. Carson, and again, I'm using him simply for a name, is if you want fancy schmancy and you want to feel as if you're walking into the Taj Mahal of news and entertainment, I guess you would call it to a certain degree, go to Fox. I'm not going to compete with that. But if you want to go and reach a crowd that knows that they're going to get the truth, no matter who is sitting across from me or Harlan or Scarlett or whoever else it is that I hire to be at a desk, or maybe not even a desk. We're talking about having a show where we do it from a kitchen. No joke. I said, then you come to me, Dr. Carson. I'll get you people who know, who are passionate about what they're passionate about, and they know what they know, and they want to hear the truth. You want to reach people, and you want to be stamped as a truth teller, then you come to us, regardless of how schmancy my place is. So I told Harlan that I want to change. I want to scrap every place that we have seen over the last 2 weeks. He was like, whoa, Dennis. I mean, the poor guy has seen. His job right now is to weed out places that won't waste my time, because my time is so limited. I said, weed them out. Give me the places I'm only going to want to see. I said, toss it out. This guy's probably seen 50 to 70 places. Throw them out. I want a warehouse. What? Yeah, I want a warehouse. I want a warehouse, and I want it cheap. I don't want to spend, you ready for this? The place I was going to take, $21,000 a month. I said, I'm not burning $21,000 a month on fancy glass for Dr. Carson or anybody else for that nature. $21,000 a month, no good. Give me a warehouse. I want you to give me a warehouse that used to maybe sell screws and bolts, or used to fix Big Mac trucks. How you doing? Good. He's definitely from Russia with that hat on. Might be KGB. Better yet, maybe he knows Trump. Okay. So I said to get it, and I'll pay a guy to come in and spray paint the whole place white. We'll make it look like it's brand spanking new. I said, I want a warehouse. I want a warehouse. I can have sound stages, and I can have it's everything. I want to have my writers over here, and I want to have my desks over there for the studio, and I want to have making movies over there. I want the whole thing. He's like, Dennis, we're not going to be able to do that in Manhattan. I said, screw Manhattan. If Donald Trump or Dr. Carson or whoever doesn't want to come see us in Brooklyn or on the outskirts of Manhattan, screw them. I don't want them. They want to reach people. They want to be part of new media. They want to go somewhere where they know that I'm not going to allow you to escape with giving BS to my audience. That's where they come. No more me going to them. No more us going to them. They come to us. That's how it works. We're changing the ground rules. You understand, Harlan? We're changing the ground rules. The ground rules is I don't want you to tell me that we need, this is what he said, right? Dennis, we should get a place here by Bryant Park because Fox is right down the way and Newsmax is down the way. I said, screw them. Let Newsmax and Fox move their locations to be closer to me. I don't chase anybody's tail. I could feel Harlan getting all tingly inside. Yeah, because that's how you do things differently. That's how you change the world. That's how you change how things happen. Not by going with the flow, but by going against the grain. That's what it is. You change the ground rules, you establish the new rules, and you tell people you either follow or you peril. And that's the way it works. That's the way it works. At least that's the way it works with me. And if that's too cocky for you, go somewhere else. There you go. That's how it works. Hey, how's it going? Walk and talk fan. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Good woman. My son used to date her daughter. Yeah. Used to. Big word. Told him, don't need any girlfriends. Concentrate on school. Handsome kid. Good daughter, too. Good people. Anyhow, father's a cop. Good guy. All right, let's go back. So the wow in this whole thing, I told Harlan, I said, the people who donated to our cause, I said, they're expecting stuff out of me. I kept to my word. I told them first 3 months. Apps, websites, new people, location. Stage 2, micro shows. So I'm 2 weeks behind now because I'm going for a bigger, better place in a warehouse. It's costing me a lot less. But then again, I'm not asking you for money today. I'm not saying if you buy a mug, I'll send you the extra 100. Please, I spilled all the money. Not me. No way. DML does not own a credit card. I ever tell you that? No. I don't got the coin. I don't spend it. Discipline, baby. Discipline. Yep. Anyway, that's the wow part. Yeah. And you know what? I also decided I'm going to let you guys in on everything. You're going to basically judge it. I'm going to toss up pictures of every single place we go to check out and let you guys vote on the place. I say, what do you think? You like Avenue A better or Avenue B? You guys can decide. Yeah, that's what we do. Nobody else does that. No. They say you're going to adhere to what I pick. Changing the ground rules. And that's the way it's going to be. Changes. Turn this place changes. Yep, that's how it's going to be. All right, so let's get into the story. Let me get myself all revved up for this one. Maybe a little hat backwards. Okay. We once did a walk and talk where I answered your questions. Remember that? It was like before Christmas. It was a Friday. When I first started Walk and Talk, I think I said, send me your questions and I'll answer them. I remember it because I haven't done it since then. I probably will do it. Maybe I'll do it this weekend. And yeah, if you got questions, send me questions. WeTrustDML@gmail.com. And I will, I'll answer your questions on Sunday. We'll do it Sunday. All right? All right. So, somebody asked me the question, what's worse, pissing DML off or hurting DML? Remember that? What'd I say? Hurting DML. The only thing that can be worse than hurting DML, and I mean crippling worse, is if you disrespect yours truly. You disrespect yours truly, and it's not good. Respect is such an important word because it is such an important thing. You must always give respect. If you give respect, you will be granted respect. If you don't give respect, you're not going to get it. You don't deserve it. Now, if I give you respect, if I give you love, if I give you what's up here on almost a daily basis, and you disrespect me, all the snow angels, all the songs, all the hee-haw, you'll swear that was a different guy. You will swear that was a different guy. Because when you layer on hurt and disrespect, you are heading down a really dangerous road. Really dangerous road. Now, I've had multiple people like you have in the course of my life where things just look like they were going to work out, but they don't. It could be any number of reasons. It could be a change in theory. It could be a change in money, a change in climate, a change in situation, change in thought. Changes. But when those changes happen, when something different takes place, you don't lose your respect, especially for somebody who helped you. If you lose respect for that person and you shower that person with disrespect, that shows truly who you are. Truly who you are. I never, ever lose respect for my fellow human being. Ever. Except for maybe Barack Obama. But he's different. He's the president. He signed up for a job to where he said, hey, listen, if you disagree, kick me in the groin. And believe me, I kick. But I don't kick because I don't have a respect for him as a human being. If he was standing in front of me right now, I would say hello to him, I would shake his hand, and I'd say hello to his wife and children, and I would treat them with respect, simply because they are human beings. If he said, went foot, dry foot, I'd be like, what is wrong with you? That would be a different story. But he's the president. If you have somebody on the other end, and you start showering them with disrespect, and you do it in a way that's almost public, you're like Alec Baldwin. I mean, you might as well start playing handball against the curb. Yeah. Because that says that you're a loser. And that says that everything that you've done to that point is fake. And let me assure you about one thing that I've learned in my 48 years. And if you're listening, you can just chalk this up as another one of our conversations. And you should chalk this one up as the greatest, most wisdom-filled conversation of all. There is nothing in this world that is as valuable as your name. You fight for certain things to the death. Your country is one of them. Your family's another one of them. But your name is absolutely, definitely one of them. It doesn't matter what you have to do. Money, anything, you fight for your name. When it comes to fighting for my name, I've had to do it before, and I am relentlessly vicious. Now, we'll talk about this on another Walk and Talk, because right now I know some of you are sitting there and say, like, oh my God, I'm so intrigued by what he's saying. You should be. It ties back to the beginning. Donald Trump right now has people trying to stain him, and he's not going to be stained. He's going to fight fire with fire. So understand something. I work a little bit differently than Donald Trump does. Although from what I hear, Donald Trump is the same thing. You do something to Donald Trump, it goes right here, and it never escapes. You disrespect me, you're playing with fire. Maybe not today. Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe in 4 years. Who knows? But respect. R-E-S-E-P-T. You need to listen to the song. Maybe you should. When people try to treat you with disrespect, to steal from Michelle Obama, only thing is she doesn't adhere to it. When they take the low road, you take the high road. And so to you, the person on the other side who is showing me a great deal of disrespect, understand that I take the high road, which means I'm always on top of you. Understand? DML is a really good man with good morals and good principles who will give you the shirt off his back and not ask for anything in return aside from respect. You diss that, and it's a completely different ball game. That being said, ain't it great to be alive? Yes, it is. So, I have to go back to work. Getting so busy with apps. Oh, let's do this whole thing right now, okay? Apps. If you haven't downloaded the app yet, I'm like a recording at this point. I got it all down. The age in me had a hard time remembering all this, but here we go. If you got an Android and you haven't got the app yet, you got to get it. You go to play.google.com, you get it, you download it. If you already downloaded it and it's like, hey, wait a second, this doesn't matter. We've done upgrades. If you don't go to get the upgrade, you're still going to be dealing with the old technology that was a week ago. That's the world we live in. Old last week, new today. If you've got an iPhone and you haven't gotten the app yet, what are you doing? Go to the App Store and look for Dennis Michael Lynch. You'll see yours truly. Look at Serious and all. Download the app. It will say Mark Suter underneath it. It's a little misleading, but Mark's the dude who's developing it for me. That's why his name's on there. I was like, get that changed. So that's going to be changed, but my face is on there. All serious and stuff. Download it. Get it. What does it do? Listen. You'll be the smartest person in the room all the time. You get the little stuff that comes in. It's not going to buzz your phone. Do. No, it just sits on a little badge thing. And it says, 12 stories since the last time. You go in there. You do a little surfing on the titles. You click on the ones you need to see. There you go. If I'm giving you an alert, breaking news, something I need you to know, I know you'd want to know, I'm going live, that's when you get the ding. That comes through the Twitter and it goes right to your phone. Boom. Walk-in talks. They're on there. DML, the screen's too small. Okay, we got it. We're fixing it. Remember, this is tough, man. This is like changing the tires on a moving car. But we're doing it, We know that they have to make improvements, Wasn't all built in a day. We're making improvements. And as it gets improved, and yeah, you'll be able to comment and all this other different stuff. We're trying different stuff every day. We're trying different stuff. We're getting there. But you need to have the app. If you don't have the app, here's Mama Lynch picking me up with my daughter. If you don't have the app, you're missing out. You got to do it. Also, speaking of my daughter, the most two beautiful girls in the world. I'm going to bring them into the mix. Absolutely. Yeah? Huh? The car will stop for me. And if it does not, I will hit the car. Okay. Say hello to my little friend. Say hi, Miss Mary. Yeah. Miss Mary wanted me to tell you why she hasn't been on the walk lately. Why haven't you been on the walk? She's busy at work. We're all busy working. And then, of course, there's the most beautiful girl in the world. Hello. She is the actual person who's running the DML is my dad on Instagram. I don't know if we have a picture up there today. Maybe we'll have it of a truck hitting me. Yeah, come on, he's probably a fan of the walk and talk. Hey, wait, is that the guy, Mary? The coach. Yeah. All right, well, anyway, until tomorrow. God bless you. God bless our troops. God bless the United States
of America.
A little louder, man. Yeah. She's not really a Lynch. Why don't we do it again? A little bit of energy.
Honey,
ready?
Come on, they don't. We're good.
I'll say it. God bless you. God bless our troops. And
God bless America.
wait, she was going to play something. Oh, you're playing? I thought you were going to play God Bless America.
No.
All right. I'll work on the family during lunch. All right. Until tomorrow. See you later.